day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm at St George's Basin and just trying to figure out where I am, but I've just identified exactly where I am, and as you can probably see in front of us, we've got a magnificent rainbow starting to appear. How wonderful, how beautiful is that? I used to come down here on holidays as a young teenager, where I'd join my auntie Frida, my cousin Anna, my uncle George, and every year for about a decade we'd come down here and share our annual holidays for about 5 or 6 weeks. Auntie Frida would book accommodation and we'd come and have the time of our lives, fishing, skiing, horse riding, basically doing all of those wonderful activities. So let me just go down the other side here where we can go down onto the boat ramp to experience and to enjoy this wonderful rainbow, which has magically and just mystically appeared right here and now. And what I want to do is I want to go through a book summary, and the book summary is entitled Belonging by Owen Eastwood. So Owen Eastwood has written a book entitled Belonging, and it's just absolutely magical here. We've got the rainbow. Look at that rainbow. Look how strong, look how powerful that rainbow is. And I'll just go down here just to the water's edge. There's some people there taking their dog for a bit of a walk and a bit of a swim, which is funny. It's a massive dog. Anyway, but this rainbow, as you can see, is spectacular and glorious. So let's just go around the other side and we'll go down to Palm Beach and continue this vlog. We'll be talking about the importance of belonging. And the author kicks off the book with the observation where he says that belonging is wildly undervalued, is a wildly undervalued condition required for human performance. So as you can understand, this book entitled Belonging is all about focusing on the importance and the criticality of feeling that you belong, because it's that sense of belonging that brings out the best in our human element, our human nature. And I'm just going to drive down here to Palm Beach. Wow, talk about memories. I was 11 years old when I first came here, and I spent so many hours, so many days down on this beach, fishing, swimming, sunbaking, eating, playing, listening to music, and putting the boat in the water and taking the boat out of the water. So many wonderful memories. My Uncle George was since passed away. God bless him. Would bring us here every year, and we spent. This is where we spent most of our time, at this particular location. Great memories. There's a barbecue here, a covered barbecue area. It looks a bit windy out there, so what I might do is just continue driving and talking rather than try and get out of the car and get buffeted by the wind. But back in those days, I can see today it's high tide and the water is relatively flat, but we would have the boat moored here on the sand, and we'd go fishing at dawn, at daybreak, and in the afternoon, and spend the whole day on this beach with my Auntie Frida. There's a lot of weed here at the moment, but there's been a lot of rain, there's been a lot of activity, so it probably makes sense for there to be a bit of weed about. But wonderful time was always had here with family and friends, and I felt that I belonged here. This place here has my DNA, has my uncle's DNA, my auntie's, my cousin's DNA, and a lot of people who came here in the 70s. We had a ball. It was just wonderful. Just thinking and looking back. So, wow, that rainbow is really, really impressive. So what I might do is find a vantage point where I can do the vlog and experience and make the most of this rainbow. So this book here moves on and talks about the challenge for all leaders, the challenge for leaders in families, the challenge for leaders in organisations, in communities, the big challenge that we all face is that we need to create an environment where everyone is helped to make and to feel as if they belong. Just like I feel that I belong here and I'm welcomed by this beautiful rainbow. Let's just get out of the car and we'll continue the book summary, so bear with me for a moment for me to reset up my equipment. Won't be long. Here we are, we're done. Switch the engine off. So here we are, and lo and behold, here we have this rainbow. Let me just try and get the whole rainbow into picture, which I've been able to do there. So there you go. We've got a rainbow. We've got the rainbow. We've got the swans in the water. But a beautiful rainbow, a belonging rainbow. So the author goes on to say that the challenge for all leaders is to try and create an environment where everyone feels that they belong, regardless of who they are and what they believe. There is a correlation. There is a correlation that science has been able to identify between belonging and health. We often hear about people in blue zones that live a lot longer than what most other people tend to live. And one of the common elements in those blue zones, like Ikaria and islands in Japan, is that these people are integrated into the community and are made to feel as if they're an integral part and that they belong there. They feel that they belong. And this sense of belonging, sense of integration, is key to helping people feel loved and feel healthy. So what we're saying here is when we feel that we belong, our body produces and releases certain hormones and generates a soup that enables oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine and endorphins to work their collective magic. So this is something that is, I guess, captured by science, is endorsed by science, and something that we all need to consider. There is a lot more to health than just eating the right food or drinking lots of water. There are things that we need to do which are more relational and relationship based, that have ongoing powerful effects. So as the author says here, that there are things that we can do, and belonging is a mental, a physical and a spiritual state. It's a mental, physical and spiritual state where all three work together to produce an outcome, to produce a baseline that helps us express our better self, to live our better self, and as the author mentioned before, to produce a cocktail, a wonderful cocktail of elements to enable us to live a better life and a healthier life. I'll just pop this on here and we'll just go for another drive. There we go. We'll just switch on the engine and we'll take off. So there you go. So the author is saying that science tells us that if you want to have a good quality life, then you need to integrate and blend together your physicality, your spirituality, and your mentality, so that they're all aligned, they're all congruent, they're all working together, pulling in the same direction, because it's this balance, according to Owen Eastwood, that generates the conditions for good health, or our ability to maintain a certain level of health, that we can all do something about. Now, what we're saying in the call to action in this book is that there are things that you can do, and I notice that culturally there are certain cultures that are more family oriented. There are cultures that spend or invite integration, invite multiple generations living and being together. That will help facilitate what we're learning and what we're finding out here. Because as we said, if you're happy, if you feel that you belong, if you feel that you're contributing, then what that happens is that your body releases a hormone soup that enables the rest of your body to work together and to be happy at the cellular, at the hormonal, at the spiritual, at the mental, and the physical level. So everything seems to be linked together and inextricably intertwined, which is really important. You can't just do one thing and accept and expect to have positive outcomes across the board. It's more of a holistic approach, a holistic view on one's health. And the author goes on and says that people tend to perform at their best when they feel that they belong, they feel safe and secure, and it's important to foster that sense, that environment. And there are leaders whose job, should they wish to accept it, is to create that environment to help people live at their best and the most optimal level. So what else can we learn? The author says here says here that that belonging shouldn't be conditional. This is really powerful. Belonging shouldn't be conditional, just like love shouldn't be conditional. People should, or it's better if people are welcomed. Now, how many times do you meet people who just make you feel loved, make you feel comfortable, and make you feel as if you're one of them, that you've known them your whole life? And as I said before, it goes with certain cultures, it goes with certain organisations, with groups. There are, there's a recipe. There are elements that people are able to leverage to make it easier and better for everybody. And we need to be careful that in our Western civilization, where we glorify independence and individuality, that this can cause immense problems. I remember going years ago to a Stephen Covey presentation at the Opera House, and he said that when you're young, you go through a dependent stage where you depend on your parents, you depend on everybody around you to help you grow and develop. And then as you get older, you become a teenager, you become independent, where you don't want to depend on anybody, and you push away any help or any advice that comes from other people. But you can't remain independent for the rest of your life and be of service and be useful, because love is about giving and taking, offering and receiving. You need to lift yourself to a position of interdependence, where you help others and others help you. We work hand in glove, we give, we take. And if you want to make other people feel love, then you've got to accept their love as well. You just can't be giving people love and attention and nurturing all the time. You need to be able to receive it, because it's transactional. And a lot of people make that mistake, that they're standoffish when it comes to people giving them things, but they're very hands-on and pushy when it comes to them giving their love to other people. So love shouldn't be conditional. The sense of belonging shouldn't be conditional. It should be just a natural thing that occurs and reoccurs. So the author goes on to say that one of the important things for leaders is that they need to be storytellers. They need to be the ones who share the stories and bring people together and enable people to belong, and enable other people to understand that the other people belong. And it's a three-dimensional, sort of element, where the heritage of the team and the family are sacred. You need to make sure that what you do at work is an extension of what you do to yourself and what you do to your family. You can't be really, really nice to strangers and terrible to your wife or children. It's got to be something which is comes from within, is what the author is saying. And everybody needs to understand, through this storytelling, that the boss, through the father, through the grandfather, through the community leader, says we need to keep on reminding people where we were, where we've come from, and where we're going, so that we can all see the same picture. We all see the same path. We all want to join and be part of the same journey, and where we can focus on the present, the actions of the present to get us there. because it's these actions that we take on a daily basis, the presence that we enjoy and experience, that need to be the stimulus that take us from where we were to where we want to be. So we all need to understand that we're part of some long chain where we've had things handed to us, and we need to hand those things that we've had handed to us. We need to work those things. We need to express those things. We need to share those things with somebody else in a live, learn and pass it on style of environment. We need to feel a genuine sense of belonging. We don't want to feel like an outsider. We don't want to be ostracized. And the challenge for all of us is to seek and display the common element that acts as hooks to attach us to others and others to us, rather than to cover ourselves with oil and not to allow others to connect with us and just their hands to slip off us. So we need to reach out, is I guess a message. We need to reach out to others, and we need to allow them to reach out to us and to be able to grab us, to hold on to us, to connect with us, and not to be, as we said before, standoffish and hard to deal with. We need to make the first move, as my mother used to tell me, to experience and to express protya, to be the first to say hello, to be the first to lend a helping hand, to be the first to identify an issue and to see if somebody is in trouble and to offer your help, rather than to wait for somebody to ask for help. But by the same token, to be balanced with that, not to be too pushy with advice, not to be too pushy with offering to help, but to allow people to have room to do what they have to do in order to grow and develop. But when you see them floundering, and when you see that they may be suffering, to step in and to do something which may have a positive outcome. So there you go. There's the book summary for today. I think I've done about 6 or 7. It's almost a record in terms of the books that we've done, the book summaries. And once again, we're here at Jarvis Bay. The sun's come out. We've got some glorious weather. I'm just going to take some time now to go and catch up with my Uncle Spiro and my Auntie Poppy. They're probably about 2 kilometres down the road. I've figured out, I think, where their house is. So I'll finish off this book summary, go and say hello, spend about a half an hour there, and then slowly but surely make my way back to Sydney over the next 3 or 4 hours. So thank you once again for joining me on this episode, and another beautiful book summary where we've learnt something powerful, something profound, and to clearly recall and to try and incorporate and endorse the importance of cooperation, and to work with people to help them generate a sense of belonging and to feel as if they're part of something bigger and better than just themselves. And when people feel as if they're part of something bigger and better, they're more willing to offer and give and to risk things, because as humans, our calling is to try and serve others, to serve God, and to do the best we possibly can with the resources and the things we have So thank you very much for joining me on this episode from St George's Basin, and I'm just leaving Jarvis Bay, heading back to Errol Bay, where my uncle lives, and I just hope they're home, and I just need to try and identify which house is theirs. But Yassas, take care, and we'll chat again. For now.